Hi, my name is Xochitl Ruiz, and this is my final speech for Communications 101. This is a tribute to my grandmother who passed away 3 years ago. I was regrettably not there for her services, and so these are some things that I wish I could have been present to say to all who remember her. Here is my audience. Okay, I'll just get situated. Okay, one of the things that I'll remember most about my grandmother is her talent for storytelling. For as far as back as I can remember, she would always take all the grandkids and sit us down for story time. She had such a way with storytelling. She had the book of 1001 Arabian Nights, and she had memorized some of the stories from it. So then she would retell them to us. She was always kind. She was the strongest woman I've ever known. She loved to sing, and as she did her chores, and she was an accomplished cook. She taught us all how to play cards by the time we had learned to count from 1 through 10. I honestly think that she was a woman that was born in the wrong time, or perhaps even right at the right time, because she was a trailblazer. She was born in 1921 in a rural area of Mexico, and at a time when women were second-class citizens, but she didn't conform to any of the gender norms. And she lost her mother before she had children of her own, and she took over the mothering of her siblings who were as young as 2 years old. She was the only mother that they ever knew. She raised them and she provided for them. She was a pillar in her community and was always the voice of those who had less and felt less. She advocated for women's rights and for children. And she used to organize and fund festivals in her area for the children of the community to bring fun to them, but also to make sure that no child ever went without a Christmas present. She worked hard from a very young age. She was compassionate and as straight and narrow as there ever was. She had integrity in spades. And she devoted her life to the children and to hers. And she was at the service of those in her community. I have an older sister, and when we were kids, she was such a picky eater. I mean, she's still a picky eater. 44 years old, and I never knew anything more. So when we were in Mexico once, my sister didn't want to eat, and my mom would worry about it. So my grandma said, it's because she's not hungry. She has to build up a hunger for it. So my grandma devised a plan, which was to take me, my sister, 2 of my cousins, and 2 of the neighbor girls hiking. So she was gonna make us work up a good appetite so that my sister would eat. So she took us all, my grandma, 6 girls, ages between 5 and 10, and she took us hiking through the local hilly areas. So she's singing to us, telling us stories, and every so often she would ask my sister if she was hungry, and my sister would just shake her head and said no. So we keep going, keep walking, and a couple of the girls, including me, would ask, Grandma, Margarita, are we gonna eat yet? And she was always, not until Melina's ready. And my sister was like, no. So we kept walking, and I don't know how long we kept walking, but we were pretty hungry by the end, except of course, my sister. So eventually we stopped for a little picnic and we made it back home, and my grandma threw up her hands in defeat and told my mom, well, it didn't work. So I don't know what you're gonna do with that girl. That was just one of many stories. Her laugh was the best. Sometimes it was so unexpected. She never said any curse words, and we would always curse more in front of her just, to get a rise of her. And she'd like gasp. And even in the end, I was thankful that her mind was ever so sharp, and I would remind her of these and other stories, and she would always remember and help filling the details. If my grandpa was the head of the family, she was definitely the heart of the family. I love you, Grandma, and I'll always remember you. If I live to be even half the woman that you were, then I'll consider myself lucky. Thank you to all that remember her, and thank you to all that loved her just as much as I did.